What is going on, guys? Kind of flew here with 2013-2014 NFL predictions. NFL season's back. But before we get into the predictions of the season, I'm going to predict the Thursday night game. I decided to do both in one video because I'm lazy, but not the point. Thursday night game, Broncos versus Ravens, the Super Bowl defending Super Bowl winners, Baltimore Ravens, who I feel roster has got better over the offseason. Not many people in the media believe that, but that's the media. And then the Broncos. Von Miller out for 6 games. No running game, as it looked in the preseason. Sometimes people don't show up in the preseason, regular season, to become gods. You never know. But I want to get through that really quick because it's a 21-minute video and got to get through it fast. So I'm going to say the Ravens win the game. I think they're just the Ravens. They got John Harbaugh. I just think that Ray Rice is going to run all over the Broncos. It's probably going to end up being a shootout. But I think the Ravens win at the end because they have the running game and the better defense. So I think the Ravens win the first game of 2013-2014 NFL season. So yeah, let's get right into predictions. We're going to do divisions, and then we're going to do Super Bowl. I'm going to name the wild cards, but I won't do the whole bracket. And then I'll do award winners of all the awards I could think of, and some awards that aren't officially handed out but are discussed a lot by the end of the season. So the first division is my favorite division, AFC East, with the New York Jets, the New England Patriots, Buffalo Bills, and Miami Dolphins. Pretty shitty division, I know. I'm going to say the Bills win the division. You can all suck it. Everybody's picking the Dolphins. The Patriots aren't a bad team, but I think they'll run into struggles during the season with the rookies. And maybe I think Gronk will have a big effect when he comes back. But if he could stay healthy, then they can win the division. If that defense can improve from last year, then they can win the division. But I just don't see it. I still see them making the playoffs as the wild card. But I think it'll be close. I think Week 1 and Week 17 are going to mean a lot for the Patriots and Bills. So I'm going to go with the Bills first, Patriots second, the New York Jets third, and the Miami Dolphins fourth. The Miami Dolphins going fourth because everybody's overhyping them. I see them as their team got shittier from last year. They traded Mike Wallace and Dusty Keller for Reggie Bush and Jake Long. It's just a terrible trade-off. And Dusty Keller's out for the season. And they let Reggie Bush go, who was getting better every year with Miami. Now they have no offensive line, so they could throw it to Mike Wallace. Made no sense. Their defense, they completely blew up, which they didn't have to, which they did. The Jets come third because their defense. I don't want to put them at third, but I hate the Dolphins this year because everybody's overhyping them. I just don't see it from the Dolphins. So yeah, Jets are going to be third because of their defense. And Rex Ryan will probably be fired, hopefully. That would be the smart thing. And then we got the AFC North, which is the hardest division in the AFC. AFC's pretty weak this year compared to the NFC. Three teams come out of this division in the playoffs, or only one. That's how good this division is. I think the division winners will be the Pittsburgh Steelers. I think the Ravens missed the playoffs. I just think the Bengals are the best. Actually, you know what? Let me take that back. I'm going to say Cincinnati Bengals win the division. I just play with the Steelers in this ranked game, as you see, so kind of biased there. But I think it'll be the Bengals and the Ravens. I think three teams come out of this division in the wild card. I think that's how it's going to go down. I think the third team is going to be really have to, luck has to be on their side. Only two other teams I really see contending for the wild card is whoever comes second place in AFC East and the AFC South. So wild card's going to be pretty weak this year. So I think you can see three teams come from one division to the playoffs. I think it'll be Bengals, Ravens, Steelers, Browns. It's going to be a pretty close division. I think anyone could win this division this year. I think the Browns will have the least like a chance because of Brad Weeden. AFC South, I don't even know. I think the only two contending teams are the Colts and Texans. I think the Titans could show out of nowhere, but I don't think they're just going to show out of nowhere and just win the division. The Colts, I like their off season. They just drafted. They didn't make it anything hard. They just signed free agents. A lot of people thought they would go after the top free agents. They didn't. They signed depth to the team, which they needed. Overpaid a lot of people, but you can get through that when you're building a team that was just basically Peyton Manning. And so they did a good job in the offseason, but I think the Texans win the division, Colts second, Titans third, and the Jaguars, who I think could surprise some people with some wins this year. I like Gus Bradley. I think he was the best coaching hire of the offseason because of the stuff he did in Seattle, and he learned from Pete Carroll, who, if you pay attention to the waiver wire, the Jaguars claimed 7 players, and there were some fine-ass players in that waiver wire that were cut because they didn't fit the mold, or they kind of had a shitty preseason. So I think Jacksonville ends up 4th, but you really shouldn't expect much from them this year. The best would be 3rd in the division. AFC West, I have the Broncos winning it. When you have Welker, Demaryius Thomas, Eric Decker, Peyton Manning, you're probably going to be a tough team to beat. And this division is the weakest division in the league, in my mind. Just because of the Chargers and the Raiders. And we don't know about the Chiefs. The Chiefs look good this year. I think Chiefs finish 2nd. And I think Chargers 3rd. Raiders are unfortunately 4th. A lot of injuries hurting them right now. So, I could see Raiders coming in at 3rd if everybody wasn't get injured. So, notes on this division. Broncos had the easiest schedule in the league. Last year they finished with the easiest schedule in the league. So 2 years in a row, they have statistically the easiest schedule. So should be a cakewalk in this division for them. NFC East, pretty tough division. I think every division in the NFC, you could see the 4th place team or it's going to be close divisions. I don't know about this division. This division is probably the closest in football, because each team could just come out of nowhere and just win it all. Trying to think. This is a tough one because each team. Man. I'm gonna say the Giants. I think now that they're gonna give it to David Wilson. They had Brandon Myers, who's a pretty good safeguard for Eli Manning if he wants to check it down. Their defense is still pretty crappy, but they added a couple veteran players and depth to the team. I think the second team will be the Dallas Cowboys. I think the third team will be the Philadelphia Eagles, and I think the last team will be the Washington Redskins. I believe the Redskins come last because I just don't see it from this year, to be honest. They're a pretty overhyped team right now because of RG3. I think if they're smart, they're gonna not run the pistol as much as they do, because Clay Matthews from the Packers said every team's gonna take a chance at hitting the quarterback when it's in read option. So coming off a 20 ACL, they kind of want to protect that. At least I would. But I don't think they're just going to have a crappy record. The they're in a tough division. That's improved, except for the Eagles. They didn't really improve. Their offense did. Their defense got worse. Um, so I don't. I just think the Giants win this division and the Redskins come last. I'm not hating on the Redskins. It's just a tough division where their offense could suffer. Except for against the Eagles. NFC North, we have this one's another division that could go any way, to be honest. You never know what you're gonna get with the Vikings and the Lions. Lions could be the best team in the league, or they could be the worst team in the league. Same with the Vikings. This is Christian Ponder's year. He's got Greg Jennings, who veteran receiver, Cordell Patterson they drafted. One of the best offensive lines in the league, the best running back in the league. Their defense added a lot of pieces. This is Ponder's year to step up. The Bears, Jay Cutler needs to step up. This could be his last. I think he's the last year of his deal. They might decide to go another way with the QBs coming out this year. The Lions, Stafford, they signed him to a contract. He's probably gonna end up staying. He got Reggie Bush, so I don't know. Just big boomer bust teams in this division. I'm gonna say the Packers win the division, even though their offensive line is killed already. Their defense pretty healthy. They got another impressive rookie corner. I like what the Packers are going to do this year. I think they win the division. I think second place will go to the Detroit Lions, third to the Bears, and last to the Vikings. This could completely go. The Packers could be bottom, Vikings could be top in this division, just because of how each side of the ball is. Vikings with Ponder's problems, Jay Cutler with the Bears, the Lions is can Matthew Stafford stop turning the ball over? Can their defense hold up? We know the Bears have a defense. Can the Vikings kind of just prosper at both sides of the ball? That's the question. The Packers have Aaron Rodgers, so pretty tough. Next is the NFC South. Kind of like the NFC North. You can see, the bottom two teams be top or bottom, either blowing all these teams out or just getting destroyed. Saints had the worst defense last year. A lot of records broken. Falcons made a playoff run. Kind of, lost a lot during this free agency in my mind. They had a Steven Jackson, so that's okay. Panthers probably one of the best front sevens, or the youngest, one of the best young front sevens. Lukuichi. If you don't follow preseason football, they dominant game against the Ravens, I think was in preseason. He's playing lights out. He is a scary player, and he's a very good player to watch. They had two good defensive tackles, Starla Tulele and Kewan Short, who's really impressed during preseason. They have Greg Hardy, who broke out last year with 11 sacks. Charles Johnson, one of the most underrated pass rushers in the league. If John Beasley can stay healthy and Thomas Davis can stay healthy, they probably have one of the best front sevens in the league, which will protect that secondary, which has looked okay. They just recently added Quentin Mikey, who's pretty good, pretty underrated. A lot of people think he's crap, but he's a pretty serviceable safety for them. Nice pickup by them. They did a lot of work during free agency and the draft. Added Ted Ginn. They couldn't really add anything on offense because they just had cap limitations. So they had Dominic Hickson, who was kind of on and off with the Giants. Offensive line's kind of a problem for them, but I don't know who wins this division, to be honest. I'm going to go on the limb and say the Saints. They have Drew Brees. They have running backs. They have the receivers. They have Sean Payton. Their defense, still, I want to see what they can do. I think I think the Falcons are a close second. I think the Panthers are a close third, and I think the Buccaneers are last. I just don't like what I see from the Falcons' defense, and they kind of have problems on the offensive line. And they added Steven Jackson, who's used to that stuff, so it's kind of a plus, but their defense, I'm not seeing it. I think in this division where you have the Saints, and then you have Cam Newton, and then you have the Buccaneers with Doug Martin, Vincent Jackson, their defense isn't gonna fit this type of division, and it's gonna be rough here for their defense. If the defense could step up, they'll win the division easily, but I just don't see that. And then finally, the best division in the league, NFC West. In my opinion, it's the best division in the league. The big things for this was Bolden was added, Tavon Austin, Percy Harvin, Cliff Averill, Carson Palmer, new head coach Bruce Arians. A lot added to this division. A big thing during the offseason was Seahawks and 49ers pretty much. 49ers traded for. Seahawks trade for Percy Harvin. 49ers trade for Bolden. They'd pretty much match anything the Seahawks would do. They would steal players from each other. So I don't know. I'm pretty sure we all know who's going to be the top two teams of this division, but the Rams did not lose to the 49ers last year. The Rams had a pretty good divisional year last year. The Cardinals they started out 5-0, I think it was. Then they played the Bills. So they had Carson Palmer. Offensive line, they had Eric Winston. Bobby Massey's coming off a good season. He started really bad in the beginning, but then he became one of the better right tackles in the league. They lost their first-round pick, Jonathan Cooper, for the season. It's a tough break. Their offensive line is much improved from last year. The running game is still crappy. Rashard Mendenhall, Stephon Taylor. It's a mess back there. So they're going to end up passing a lot. Carson Palmer does that a lot with the Raiders before he came over to Arizona. I don't know. Who wins this division? Let's see. Let's put some pros and cons in this. Seahawks. Percy Harvin, they traded for him. He's going to miss the first half of the season. So no major changes. Defensively, Chris Clemens is going to miss week 1. Cliff Averill, I think, got hurt. I don't know if he's playing week 1. I haven't really read up on that. They have Richard Sherman, Earl Thomas, Cam Chancellor, Brandon Browner. They have Bobby Wagner. They didn't lose much. They added players. 49ers, Crabtree, torn ACL. Achilles it was. Mario Manningham is coming back from a torn ACL. Kyle Williams as well. They have Bolden, Quentin Patton, who's an impressive rookie. Traded for Jonathan Baldwin, who's kind of, plays when he wants. Lost Delaney Walker. And then you go on the defensive side. They added Eric Wright. They added Nomney to be their nickel corner. They lost Sean Goldson, got Eric Reed. So both teams didn't lose much. They added players, but they both didn't lose much. But I'm going to go with the Seahawks. I just feel like Kaepernick is going to struggle at times in his first full season. I think Russell Wilson is a very smart player, and he will not do dumb shit during the season like Kaepernick probably will. It's gonna be. I think it'll be 1 or 2 games away from each other all year. Of course, the 2 matchups between each other is going to be the key games for them. But I think the Seahawks win the division. I just think Kaepernick's going to struggle in his first full season. He's not going to struggle all season, but there's going to be times where he will. And it kind of hurts that he doesn't Delaney Walker, who was his favorite tight end for most of the time. He left to go to Tennessee. Michael Crabtree, I'm not sure. I don't think he's out for the season. There's hope that he's going to be there for the playoffs. But he has Bolden. Bolden's a pretty good guy to throw to, as you saw with Joe Flacco. But the receivers are pretty weak compared to the Seahawks. So I just think it's going to come down to quarterback play, to be honest. I think both teams are even on basically both level on every position, and I think it comes down to quarterback and how they play. So I think Seahawks, 49ers, Rams, Cardinals. Wild cards would be Falcons and 49ers. You look at the NFC and you just think there's not really a definitive bad team in this conference. As you look to the AFC, I could count on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's about 5 teams you could look and be like, yeah, they're going to be bad. While you look at the NFC, you can't see any. People say the Panthers or the Buccaneers. I could see that. But you look at the Panthers and Buccaneers, you just think Buccaneers had Darrelle Revis. They had Levante David, who was one of the best outside linebackers last year. Gerald McCoy, who was one of the best defensive tackles. Doug Martin, one of the best running backs. And you look at the Panthers, Luke Kuechly. They added defensive tackles finally. Cam Newton, you look at the NFC and you're just like, there's no bad team in the NFC. You don't look at the team and you look, they are going to be the bad team. You just don't see it. Awards really quick. MVP, I think it'll be, it's not going to be Peyton Manning. I think it'll be Tom Brady. Actually, I'm going to say Aaron Rodgers. Defensive Player of the Year, I think it's going to be Geno Atkins from the Bengals. I really like him. I think I think he's the best defensive player in the league. He just doesn't get recognition because he plays at Cincinnati. Offensive Rookie of the Year, I'm going to say E.J. Manuel, because the Bills win division in my alternate world. Defensive Rookie of the Year, I'm gonna say Star Lotulelei. I think he kind of had an off preseason, but I think he's gonna make a big impact on the Panthers. It's a tough one though. I don't know if it's. I'm gonna say Star Lotulelei or an outside linebacker, pretty much. I don't know. Defensive is really hard to predict this year. Coach of the Year, I'd say Pete Carroll. He deserves it. Comeback player, I think it'll be Sean Lee. I think Sean Lee is one of the best linebackers in the league, and he's going to be dominant in that 4-3. So that is it for this video, my prediction video. I hope you enjoyed. See you Saturday. Saturdays will be the game week predictions. So thanks for watching. All the information's below. Twitter, subscribe. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the predictions. Put yours own in the comments below. That's what I'm trying to say. And stay tuned till Saturday. See my week 1 predictions. You already saw my Thursday game predictions. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.